Down, please, Haley, because you're just making a mess. Okay, algebra tiles. We do test them. You can use them on any test or quiz you want. Grade 9 is a little bit harder because there's several different types of algebra tiles. We're going to keep them very simple this year. If it's unshaded, it's a positive tile. We're going to call it a positive 1 tile for the small squares. Then the opposite, the shaded, must be negative 1 tile. Okay. Just like the unshaded plus 1 tile, this will be a plus x tile. And the opposite, the shaded, will be a negative x tile. Big one, same thing. This is going to be a positive x squared tile. The shaded in will be negative x squared tile. Okay. Good. So represent the following using your algebra tiles then. Please draw this. So by representing, we mean draw. Draw that right now. How many big squares are you going to have? 2. So your coefficient, the number in front, tells you how many there are. And then for 4, you'll have 4 small squares. Okay. How many terms are there? Yeah, there's 2 terms. And you should know that because there's 2 different shapes. Okay. Don't forget I used the word coefficient. Coefficient means the number in front of the letter. What do we call this plus 4 business? You guys remember what that was? Never changes. Its value is constant. Okay. So a lot of vocab we just covered. Covered terms, constants, coefficients. Please draw a B now. Be careful with your negative sign. How many different terms are there? And how many different shapes are there? 3. Okay. So draw, please. So 2x squared, a minus x, and a plus 3. And there's 3 different terms, 3 different shapes. Okay, do the next 2. Go. Okay, so for C, I have 1x squared, 3 x's, and then 4 small tiles that are shaded in. Notice for D, the sign here is a plus. The sign in front is a plus. So the point with comparing C and D are the difference between a positive coefficient and a negative coefficient. Okay. So watch out for the sign in front. Here your coefficient equals negative 1. Okay, we don't ever write our 1s, but they are there because we have a letter. Okay. Any questions so far about going back and forth between these two? Next one then. Now I've drawn it for you. Please identify the numbers. So I want to know the symbols. What have you got? Gagan, what do you got for A? Good, negative x squared minus 2. What have you got for B? Oh, thanks. B, any volunteers? Haley? 3x plus 4. Good. And C, Dion?
2x minus 5.
2x minus 5. Good. Any questions? All right, turn it over. So this zero principle, we talked about that last year, and it's really important. So 0 can be represented by two like quantities with opposite signs. So here we have a plus x squared. Here we have a negative x squared. Together, they make a 0. So we can put a circle around them. And if we need to remove them, we can cross them off. So any 0 can be added at any time. Or it can be removed. So for example, x squared plus 3x minus 1, we can go plus 0, plus 0, plus 0 three different ways. We can go plus 0 with our 1 tiles, plus 0 with our x tiles, or plus 0 with our x squared tiles. Okay. Did we change x squared plus 3x minus 1 at all? We did not change it. Okay. So keep in mind, you can add zeros or take them away. Now you have to take them away because you want to simplify. So let's draw 3x, please. Now I want you to take away take away 2x's. So you just take them away, and what's left over? X. Now there's another way to look at this, is you could start with a negative 2x. And then you could add 3x. I'm lining these up for a purpose. Why did I line up those two? Yeah, because I can put a circle around them and cross them out. They make a 0 pair. Okay. What's left over? The x. You should know that these here are the same. Right? We have a 3x and a negative 2x. Okay, we just put them together. Okay, I want you to draw the 2x, please. Now I want you to take away 3x. 1, 2. Oh my goodness, what do we have to do? We can't take away any more. What do we have to put down? Did I change the value at all? I added a 0. I didn't change the value. Now I can take away another x? Absolutely. And so what's my final answer? Negative x. So again, over here, let's start with a negative 3x. Shade them in because they're negative. And then we want to add 2 x's. So we add 1, 2. What do we have to do? Take those away because there's 0 pairs, and we're left with negative x. Okay. Now, sometimes you can also think of this as a basket, right? You have everything in the basket. So what I want you to do is draw everything. 4x, draw a negative 2x. And yes, I'm lining them up on purpose because they make 0 pairs. Okay. Draw a plus 3. And draw a negative 6. Okay. And once you've drawn everything in the basket, now take away 0 pairs. There's a 0 pair to remove. There's a 0 pair to remove. Final answer, 2x minus 3. Okay. Okay. So up above, we kind of did some adding, subtracting. Technically here we're collecting like terms. So we put everything in the basket and remove it. Okay. Let's just keep going. Let's not bother doing this last one. Let's go on. Let's see why. Okay. Okay, so now adding, subtracting with tiles. Brackets are grouping symbols, so every part of the group inside the brackets are added or subtracted. Subtraction is the one where you can screw it up. Okay. So technically what we're doing is we're going, you want to start with this one and draw that. So draw 3x minus 4. Then you want to add a plus 2x, and you want to add a plus 5. Okay, so we want to add each part. So here's a plus 2x, and here's a plus 5. Okay. And we can take away those because there's 0 pairs. Overall, what do we have? 5x plus 1. Okay. So we're going to do the same thing here. First step is to draw everything there. Okay. Good. So then what we want to do is we want to add a plus x squared. We want to add a plus 2x. And we want to add a plus 1. Okay, so you add each piece. Go ahead and draw that. Add each piece. Okay. And then remove 0 pairs. So remove, remove. What do you have when you're left over? 4x squared minus 3x minus 3. Hands up if you got that. Awesome. Okay. So, subtraction. You can't screw up addition. It's almost impossible. But for subtraction, you've got to be very careful. You most likely are going to have to add 0 pairs. Okay. So let's go 3x, draw that. Minus 4, draw that. Don't do anything else. So we are subtracting a positive 2x. We are subtracting a positive 3. Okay, and this is where it gets weird. Do we have a plus 2x to subtract? Totally do. Easy. Do we have any 3 positives to subtract? No. So what are we going to have to do first? Add a couple 0 pairs. How many do you think we're going to have to add? 3. There's 1, 2, 3. And the reason why we add 0 pairs is so I can do exactly what it tells me to do. Take away 3 positives. Take away 1 positive, 2 positive, 3 positive. That's the weird part about subtraction. Okay. So, final result, x minus 7. There's 7 negatives. Pardon me? Well, here's 4 plus 3 altogether. How many shadeds do you have? Why would I cross out a 0 pair? What do I have to take away, Evan? Positives. So I only cross out the positive parts of the 0 pairs. And that's the weird part about subtraction. Okay. What's up? Okay, go ahead, D. Draw the first one. Okay, so we have to take away 2 positive x squareds. Can we take away 2 positive x squareds? Easily. Okay. What's the next part that we have to take away? Negative x's. How many? 3. Well, we can take away 1. Then what do we have to draw? Yeah, we have to put down a 0 pair. How many? 2. So we have to put down 1 0 pair and 2 0 pairs. Now we're allowed to finish our subtraction and take away a combined total of 3 negative x's, negative 3x. Do we have any 1 tiles to take away? No. So we're going to have to fix that by putting down a 0 pair. Now we can complete our subtraction and take 1 away. Final result. Hammond? Good. Did you draw these, Hammond? Okay. Now, what about these double signs? What is this really like? minus negative 1, minus negative 3x, minus negative 2x squared. Okay. But you shouldn't draw that. It's not what we drew. Okay, we drew the subtraction completely. But going to symbols is what we want to do eventually, okay? The idea that I think you guys, most of you can't draw these with a darn, but to actually get the idea that subtraction's special, that's what's important, okay? So what I want you to do is write the algebra expression, then solve. So what would we change this to? X squared minus x plus 3. What's the second one? Marisa? Good. So, what we need to do is subtract each piece. We need to go minus negative x squared minus plus 3x minus negative 1. Please fix your signs now. Notice I'm not changing numbers or letters, but what does my signs change to? Positive. So positive x squared minus 3x, positive 1. So when you remove brackets, you've got to be careful to fix your signs. Keep in mind you're subtracting each piece. Okay. Okay, collect like terms now. What have you got when you're done? Two x squared minus 4x plus 4. Any questions? Okay, let's move on then. Let's go subtracting without algebra tiles. So when you move your brackets for addition, plus positive 2x, plus positive 3, do your signs change at all for addition? No. That's why you can't screw it up. So when you move brackets, no signs change. And that's why, since you guys are so darn lazy, most of you don't even bother rewriting it, which is really kind of travesty, because you're losing some understanding there. But I understand you're extremely lazy, so that's okay. I'll deal with it. What's your final answer? Devinder? Good, thank you. Okay, now for B, I really do think you should rewrite it. So it should be a minus plus 3x minus negative 3. And so that step you should be able to do in your head, but now I want you to rewrite it changing your signs. So minus 3x plus 3. Okay. So when you remove brackets, then your signs change. Okay. So the first step you should do in your head, but that second one that I wrote down completely you should do. Final answer? Hammond? No. 5 minus 3? Yeah. Okay. So you got to be super careful. Try and do as much of that in your head. If you're really, uncertain, check on your calculator once in a while, but try and do this stuff in your head, because we're going to be doing this like changing your clothes here. Doing it all the time, super easily, without thinking. Okay, C. Go ahead, do C and D, please. Show, okay, remove brackets, then your answer. Remove brackets, then your answer. I don't care if you have to rewrite the same thing. Don't be so super duper lazy. You want to be able to compare C and D. C, final answer. Devinder. Good. When I rewrite D, I don't change anything in the first brackets, but I'm actually, when I rewrite it, I use my arrows. So I use my arrow, change my sign to plus 3x squared. Then I subtract the middle one, change my sign to plus 5x. Subtract the last one, change my sign to minus 4. Write the arrows. Get these things right. They're so easy. Now collect like terms. Just cure it. Final answer. Plus 6x minus 6. Good job. Any questions? Hands up if you got that. What do you have to be careful of?
Should be negative.
Oh, minus 9. Don't you?
Go, buddy. Go.
Okay. So, minus 9. There we go. Hands up if you got that. There you go. What do we have to be careful of? Two things. What is it? Subtraction. And why do we have to be careful of subtraction? Signs change. What two things? Subtraction, signs change. That's the whole hour and 20 minutes today. Fractions, signs change. So, you guys have tons of time. Eyes. Turn the page over. That's the first page of the worksheet. This is the second page. The first page is on the back, second page. You're drawing them all the way until here. The bottom of the second page. Okay, so get going, start drawing. I have. Turn it over. Oh, you worked out? Okay, I have a second page. Emily, yours is what Emily did.
What? Emma, that was writing. That was writing. That's the exact same thing.